Hi, Ben Johnson here to record this week's High Tech Friday. This week we look at Doctopus and Goobric, which are an awesome way to grade your students' assignments. You'll be able to give better feedback faster. In the past, I've been reluctant to do this because it just looked like it took too long and it was too hard. And I'm here today to tell you that's just not true. Once you get it set up, it's super easy and super fast. There are a few prereqs I want to talk about. One is that you need a Google Classroom. So if you've not designed one of those yet, go ahead and go to classroom.google.com, create a new classroom. Give your students a code so they can add themselves to that class, and then finally you're just going to create a new assignment. When you do that, you'll attach something from your Google Drive, an essay or a template of some sort or another, and then you'll want to make a copy for each student. Okay, so that's one of the prereqs. The other prereq is that you need to go ahead and install Goobric, and so you can just go to the Chrome Web Store, search for Goobric. Here's what it looks like, and you'll just need to add that to your Chrome search bar, which you'll see in a second. And then the final prereq is that you need a rubric. I like the Tech4Learning rubric. I like it better than most of the other rubric makers that are out there. It's a great software company from California. You'll go to tech4learning.com. On the left-hand side, you will see Recipes for Success, which are some of the tools they've made. Then you'll click on Tools, and you'll see a rubric maker. You'll just give it a title, so I'll just call this Report 1. Pick a grade level. It just changes the vocab for the different grade levels, and then I'll hit New. With the Tech4Learning rubric maker, you pick a topic such as writing, and then a subcomponent such as word choice, and it populates the rubric for you. And you'll see some that you're used to seeing, but then you'll see some others like teamwork that you don't always find, and maybe cooperation, teamwork, and contribution. So if you're going to be using Google Docs, it makes sense to assess the teamwork within that. And then they've even got some for behavior that you won't always see. Follows instructions, attitude, participation. So I like some of those, and I could continue to add as many rows as I want, and in fact, simple to do that. And so maybe I'll just go ahead and do another one on research and quality. Okay, so you just continue to add that. Once you're satisfied with your rubric, you'll just hit the little floppy disk up here in the right hand corner. You can do Excel or HTML. I'm just going to do HTML. And then you'll just simply take your mouse and highlight that rubric that you made and copy it. And then just go to your Google Drive, and you're going to make a new spreadsheet to house that rubric. And so I'll just then right click and paste that rubric in, and I'll just have it match the assignment name, so I'll just call it Report 1 rubric. I'll hit OK. Now this looks pretty good. I just want to go to Format, and I'll go ahead and wrap the text. And then these numbers are off a bit, so I'll just go ahead and delete those numbers and just come back in here and type in whatever point value I want to assign to these, and you can choose whatever you want. It doesn't have to be what came from the Tech4Learning website. So the first column needs to be the headings, and then the numbers across the top, and then the descriptors here, and then you just need to make sure that you save that. So that's first step, is to go ahead and make that rubric and get it saved and named, and you can make whatever changes you'd like to here. Alright, now the next one is we need to go back to our Google Drive and make another new spreadsheet. And this one is going to keep the scores that we type into our rubric. And so this one I'm just going to call it Rubric. I'll just say Report 1 finished rubric scores. So your finished scores are going to get stored on this spreadsheet by student, and just you'll see this in a minute. It's really slick. Okay, now at this point on your where you're going to keep these scores, you're going to go to add-ons, and you're going to get add-ons, and you're going to need to type in Doctopus. And that's the name of the script that the add-on that Andrew at New Vision's Cloud Lab made, and then you'll just go ahead and add that. I've already done it, so you can see that mine is finished. Once you've installed that, then you just go to Add-ons, Doctopus, and you'll do Launch. And the very first step that you're going to do after you launch Doctopus is to pick the class. Well, because you're using the Google Classroom, you can just ingest the Google Classroom assignment, and it's going to ask you to pick which class. Now I have a whole bunch for demo. I want to come down here and get the High Tech Friday 2014-15 class, and then within that I need to pick an assignment, and I'll just do this week 1 assignment. And it's basically going to go out and find all the papers that my students have turned in for that particular class, and then you'll just go ahead and ingest that assignment. And it's just going to go to your Google Classroom and pull all those papers into the spreadsheet. So they're going to be in 2 places now. They're going to be in your Google Classroom, and they're going to be in this spreadsheet that you've made. Don't let that freak you out. It's really not a big deal. It's just that they need a place to store those rubric scores, and that place is the spreadsheet. Okay. Now at this point I'm ready to start grading, and you can see up here on my search bar this eyeball, that's the Goobric. And so at this point I would just click on the student's paper. Well, I need to attach the Goobric first, so let me do that before I get ahead of myself. So I'll attach the Goobric, which we made in that first step, and I'll select the rubric, and let's see, what did I call it? Report 1 rubric, and it processed that, and I'm ready to attach the Goobric to this assignment. And I'm not sure if it's our internet connection here, but occasionally it'll get hung up, and typically whenever I just close the window it's done. It just sort of got hung up on a step, but I think that might have more to do with our network here than anything else. Here are some instructions. You can just close that. There are some things here. I can display average scores, refresh and edit counts, look for new submissions, add a co-teacher, which is nice. Send a feedback email. So these are all nice features within the Doctopus tool that you can use, although they're not required. What most teachers will end up doing is just simply clicking on the student's assignment, which is going to pull up their paper, and then to score the rubric you're just going to click on the Goobric eyeball here, which is going to pull up the rubric right above the student's paper or whatever it is that they turned into you. You can navigate through the different topics of the rubric just by clicking here, and then you would simply then just come and type the score that the student earned for each of those sections. So maybe on the teamwork, the cooperation and listens, they really just did not do a great job there, nor with contributing their ideas. And then the research quality, and then I'll just type that in. Okay. Now, nice feature over here is that you can record audio feedback if you'd like to do an audio comment. I've not used that, but I'm sure it works a lot like Kaizena. Or you can just type a little comment over here, and if you forget which student, you can just see who that is. And so I'll just type in a lame comment quickly here. Also email the scores, change students from can view to can comment on submit, up to you, and then you could auto advance to the next student if you would like to. I'm going to tell her to ignore this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and submit that, and then you'll see that it's going to pull up the next student's paper, and again I can very quickly bang this out, and this particular student did well on the teamwork part, so I'll give her full credit for that. And again, whatever comments I want, whatever feedback I want, including the audio feedback here, And then again, just go ahead and submit that, and it'll bring up the next student's paper, and you can see just how quickly this all goes. Now, you can go ahead and type in the traditional feedback that you would have given in the paper in addition to the rubric. I just want to show you where those scores are going. So this is report 1, the finished scores. They get placed onto that spreadsheet, but they also go onto another spreadsheet called Rubric scores. And if I display the average scores here, I'm guessing that's just going to give me those averages for those particular students that I've scored. All right, so and evidently that didn't display latest score, so I misread that, so my apologies. But one thing that's really nice here, if you come back here to the rubric scores, you can get a good sense of how students overall are doing in your class, and you'll see quickly if students are generally having some problems with one component on the rubric, or if they're doing very well on the other hand. So that's a real quick intro to Doctopus and Goobric. I think that you're really going to like it. Now, all of the stuff that you had in your Google Classroom will remain there and intact, but if you want to get back to the rubric scores here, remember that you'll access those from your Google Drive from that finished rubric report that you made. So give that a try. Super easy. Awesome tool. Thanks to Andrew Stillman for creating that. Thanks for watching this week's High Tech Friday.